A man's worst nightmare, getting attacked when coming back home. Folks, this is Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalists, and we've talked and analyzed about similar situations so many times here in the channel. Also in my books, Surviving the Economic Collapse. This is the thing that happens in Argentina still, till this day, all the time. And I explain how to defend yourself for these kind of situations in street survival skills, explaining the different skills you need to develop in terms of avoiding situations like these in the first place, home security, use of firearms for self-defense, and all of those skills you definitely want to start developing right now, not when you find yourself in a situation like this man did. Let's check this out and comment later. It's always the same kind of thing.
On camera, but the unsuspecting homeowner winds up pulling a gun on his attackers. I'm Joy Rand.
I'm Michelle Fisher. That homeowner speaking out about the frightening ordeal to Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay. She is live in Koreatown with that story for us tonight.
So a bunch of different things going on here, right? We have, let's actually listen to what they say.
Tried to enter his home. He wanted to remain anonymous because this is still an ongoing investigation. Terrifying surveillance video shows a masked intruder with a gun run up to this mid-city man about to walk in his front door. The homeowner pulls out his gun to defend himself, firing shots at the two intruders, quickly entering a shootout.
I guess they decided to try to come at me and come in the house, but I have a 5-month-old baby and a wife, nanny in the house, and that wasn't going to happen.
So you draw the line there. I mean, you can take my car, my wallet, my phone. It's all good. You know, I mean, it's not good, but okay. I can live with that. It's just material things. I can easily replace all of that. Your family, your kids, not so much. So you usually want to draw the line there. It is inside your house. There's just no way you're letting that happen. But this may also mean you get yourself injured, you get yourself killed. You have to be ready to deal with the consequences of your actions. Now, there's a bunch of different things here that I want to point out. First of all, the man has a house with a perimeter. The perimeter is a big thing. That's a big aid, okay? Now, not all perimeters are made the same. Not all perimeters are equal. What we see here is that he has a wall that is easily climbed. It's just too short, and it hasn't got spikes. Usually in Argentina, you see something like that, it will have spikes. And believe me, they do work. It's been many times that a guy was found hanging from them. Unfortunately, even homeowners. I know of the case of one in my own old neighborhood. The son forgot his keys. He tried to jump so as to get in, and he slipped. He got caught there, and they found him there, right there. Very sad story, but it's the kind of thing that happens. It also happens with criminals. So you won't be able to jump as easily if you have sharp spikes, and that's a little bit taller. But perimeter, great idea. Just pointing out, when you see security being more demanding in terms of the risks you're facing, I mean, the white picket fence that Americans are so used to, that is not a perimeter. That doesn't work. I mean, maybe for keeping a little yappy dog inside in your yard, yeah, but it's not a safety perimeter. So in this case, that little wall, I mean, they just jumped. It's so short. I mean, it's shorter. Look how short that thing is. The guy, it's barely there. So it's more of a feeling of, you know, and it's actually, at times, it can be even worse because it's just blocking the view. Now, with a fence, with a proper fence, 7 feet tall, spikes, you see through, but jumping involves a lot more of a challenge. Great that he has a perimeter. That is not the one you want. Make it taller and put sharp spikes in that thing. But there we see how quickly they got over that, and they rush. And this is the nightmare, right? This right here is the nightmare. You're about to go inside your house, the guy has the drop on you, and you're kind of screwed. Now, in that moment, a lot of things will come into play. How lucky you are, how much of an itchy finger this guy has, your reaction, all of this, it is extremely dangerous. So what he does is he uses his coffee as something to distract. That's valid. It's a valid option, right? It's also valid to go with holding the gun, drawing, and shooting, which is something you practice a heck of a lot in self-defense classes. This is the kind of thing that I explain here in Street Survival Skills. I explain how if you have this kind of distance, there's a good chance. I mean, personally, instead of just throwing a coffee and wishing that works, I would probably go, again, last desperate resort, grabbing that gun, holding that gun, and knowing how to cause a malfunction in a semi-automatic pistol, stuff that I explained, because these are the things that end up happening, all right? So that is going to be giving you a much better chance of making it out of it alive than just throwing a cup of coffee. He goes with a cup of coffee. Lucky for him, it does work. The guy sees this as an aggression, something he's not expecting. He's fighting back. No, but the victim is not supposed to fight back. So I'm distracted by that, right? Now, instead of shooting, he just goes away. This is a lot of luck involved. Just throwing a cup of coffee and not getting shot, that is luck. That's just luck. Good for him, but for us that we're trying to learn from these things. And again, it's always easy to analyze these things from the comfort of your home when you're not there making critical life or death decisions in fractions of a second. Sure, but since we're analyzing, we try to make the best judgment. You know what?
The homeowner
maybe, you know, and there he goes for his gun. He has the typical appendix carry that's so popular these days, and then he draws a gun and he starts shooting, showing that he hasn't got the necessary training. It's been, I mean, he did have the right attitude, he did have the right mentality of, I want to have a gun to defend myself, I kind of know how to use it, I will use it, I will fight back, I will put my life at risk if it comes down to it to protect my family. All of that is perfect, but the skill, the training, just not really there. He draws a gun
to defend himself.
And look where he has his fingers. He has his fingers riding all over the gun. He has the thumb of his weak hand riding over the slide of the gun. He's lucky, and the gun dances around, and this man hasn't got the amount of training that you want to have so as to use a firearm in self-defense in a more proficient manner. He apparently didn't hit anything, right? But yeah, I just see this, man.
The homeowner pulls out his gun to defend himself, firing shots at the two intruders. Quickly enter.
When you do these things, enough muscle memory is just, you hold it. I mean, you're not going to be John Wick, you're not going to be perfect, but more stability and your thumb not riding on top of the slide, which will most likely cause a malfunction. Again, he was lucky in this case that it didn't, but that's the kind of thing that training will address if you take care of that.
A shootout.
I think he tries to shoot, or he points the gun at least in that direction.
Try to come at me and come in the house, but I have a 5-month-old baby and a wife.
The guy goes around there, and there's a part there where we see him.
Something in my house that was worth dying for, but I was willing to die for my family.
The shootout happened Saturday night around 7:30.
Come at me and come in.
On up to this mid-city man.
There's a part where he
I'm
uses.
Michelle Fisher, that homeowner, speaking out about the frightening ordeal to Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay. She is live.
He actually kneels, using the car as cover. That is smart. Again, literally a chapter here is using your car for cover. These are important things because these are the things that may end up happening. Using walls, the corners of your house as cover. Using vehicles as cover. Having the proper grip. These are all things that make the difference in moments like these. If you haven't trained these things, if you have no clue what you're supposed to do, you're unlikely to, using the vehicle in the proper way, using your vehicle as a weapon itself, avoiding getting, ambush. All of these things may end up happening in a self-defense situation like this. He is actually kneeling, using, and I don't know if he realizes this or not, he is kneeling exactly where he should be in terms of the a potential direction from where he could get shot, placing the engine between himself and the threat. That's a good position to be in. Okay.
News reporter Sophie Flay. She is live in.
So a few things there done correctly, and the more important part is definitely there, which is the will to fight, the tools so as to do so, and the commitment once that action starts. Okay, but a bit more training would definitely be a lot more helpful in a situation like this. Okay, and maybe some of that hand-to-hand fighting for this initial from this initial contact. This other guy, he could have gotten him right there.
Pulls out his gun to defend himself.
Anyway, glad it turned out well for him. That thumb, Jesus Christ, guys. Subscribe to the channel, a ton of content already. If you have any topics, any videos specifically you want to request, more than welcome. Leave those requests and questions there in the comments below. See you next time.